At the 52nd Oscars, the nominees for Best Picture were the following films: All That Jazz, directed by Bob Fosse; Apocalypse Now, directed by Francis Ford Coppola; Breaking Away, directed by Peter Yates; Kramer vs. Kramer, directed by Robert Benton; Norma Rae, directed by Martin Ritt. Actor Charlton Heston had the honor of announcing Kramer vs. Kramer as the winner of Best Picture. I was a teenager when I first saw this movie, and I had no idea I would like it so much, because growing up, my movie diet was action flicks. Whenever I watched a pure drama, it was too mature for me. Two characters having an intimate conversation was of little interest to me. But Kramer spoke to me, and I don't quite know why, but watching it today, it feels completely authentic. That's partially because Meryl Streep and Dustin Hoffman were in bleak emotional states. Meryl Streep's partner had passed away. Dustin Hoffman was going through a divorce and was thinking about quitting movies. But Stanley R. Jaffe and Robert Benton convinced him to join. As part of the deal, Dustin Hoffman helped rewrite the script, finding the truth in every scene. This is not the kind of movie where the writers were up late coming up with one-liners. The dialogue is not snappy, it's smooth. It's not Hollywood, it's human. And the performances complement that approach. The ice cream scene is a perfect example. It was completely improvised. Neither Dustin Hoffman or Justin Henry are acting. They are simply being. And for me personally, with a couple of exceptions, I'm really hard-pressed to think of a father and son pairing on film I like more. Depending on your relationship with your dad, you either will or will not relate. Robert Benton related. That's why he chose this project. At the time, his son was 12, and he recalled what it was like when his boy was that young. Justin Henry was 8 years old when he made this film. It was his acting debut, and Dustin Hoffman acted as his mentor. There's this one story about the playground scene when Billy falls and cries. On the day, Dustin Hoffman told Justin Henry, "There's a good chance you will not see our crew again after we are done making this movie." That idea really upset Justin Henry, so his tears are a reaction to a reality that Dustin Hoffman knew pretty well. An anxious tracking shot then follows Ted as he rushes Billy all the way to the emergency room. When the doctors have Billy, Ted refuses to leave his side. My dad would not have done this, but I love this scene because it's tender and it moves me. A father helping his very young boy through his pain. Almost as though she can sense Billy in pain, Joanna comes back and says she wants Billy. This scene takes place in a real restaurant. It's called J.G. Mellon. It's in New York. There's a photograph from the scene on the wall right where they filmed it. So if you live in New York, or if you visit, go to the restaurant and take a photo with the photo. I know I would. I like being meta. What I don't like are couples that separate. My parents have been married 35 years. They've been together 44 years. I can't imagine them not together. But we come to understand why Joanna left when Ted puts Billy to bed one night. He shares a theory that is honest and explains why a lot of women leave. But Joanna leaving does not make her the enemy. In fact, there are no enemies in this story, only people pursuing their ideal self. You and I can relate to that because it's a universal journey. Being a parent is a chosen journey, and after watching this movie again, I confirmed for myself that I am not an aspiring parent. I have one friend who is a new father and he's enjoying it, and I'm happy for him. But it's not for everyone. Everyone has memories from their childhood, and this movie brings back small memories from mine. Like in this shot, we watch Billy and Ted put breakfast on the table, sit down and eat, and not say a single word. That kind of morning I've had, and it really speaks to actions over words. Not because the filmmakers are trying to be profound, but because nothing has to be said. One of my favorite parts is when Ted has to find a new job. It's really inspiring watching him. He's got the right attitude. In less than 24 hours, he gets an appointment, goes to the office, gives a presentation, and asserts this is a one-time offer. The camera is eye level. He wants to be taken seriously. He waits in the lobby for a yes or no. The camera looks down at Ted. He's no longer in control. I love this moment. Ted is among people getting into the holiday spirit, but he doesn't get caught up in it. He's in his own world, just like I would be. Then he gets the yes, and is so overjoyed he kisses a random woman at the party. Her reaction is priceless and of its time. Nobody would do that today for obvious reasons. In the next scene, Ted takes Billy to his new office. Billy asks if he and his mom will ever get remarried. When Ted says no, Billy comments that if Mommy saw Daddy's new work, he thinks she would remarry him. That comment speaks to me because I don't like what it implies, that Joanna would remarry Ted because of his workplace, not because she loves him for who he is. The courtroom sessions reveal who they both are, flawed people who are easily triggered. Amen to that. By the way, these are my favorite courtroom scenes. Not for any stylistic reasons, they're just really powerful scenes. Personally, I want Ted to win because I've watched him work really hard to make things work, and I know he can. So when the court sides with Joanna, just like Ted, I'm crushed. But when Joanna arrives to pick up Billy to bring him home, she's very emotional and tells Ted Billy is already home. Their final exchange tells me there's still love between them, and it will likely never fade. I never want my love for this movie to fade. It's one of the few pure dramas that speaks to me. Yes, Hoffman is in one of those films. He's one of my favorite actors, and he gave what is still to this day my favorite speech for Best Lead Actor. I'm personally disappointed that Justin Henry did not win Best Supporting Actor. He's completely authentic and is an inspiration for child actors. To the right person, each nominee is an inspiration. So I hope you choose to watch this movie so it might give you some. It may not be an obvious choice given your taste, but maybe, like me, you will be surprised how much you take to it. I hope so. Thank you for your attention. I appreciate your generosity.